Hey guys, what is going on? It is DaBoki here once again, and it's time for some Angelic Buster gameplay. I am here on DaBokina, and I just hit second job, so I did want to go ahead and show off some skills to you guys, even though I guess I do have a second job Angelic Buster video on my channel from Korean MapleStory. I thought I'd go ahead and get one out for you guys for GMS, so I hope you guys don't mind. They're a little bit of repetitive videos, but yes, I wanted to go ahead and talk about a movie I watched the other night. It was super late at night, like 12 in the morning, and I shouldn't have started a movie, but I know we've all been there. We're laying in bed, you've got a laptop or a phone next to you or an iPod, and you're just like, well, Netflix or YouTube is open, and you just start watching a video and you just can't stop, and it ends up being like 2 or 3 in the morning and you're like, oh goodness. But anyways, I was planning on falling asleep to this movie, but it ended up being really good and I stayed up through the whole thing. But it was called Jeff Who Lives at Home, and it's on Netflix right now, and I was watching it, and you know, I just recognized a few actors in there, so that's why I popped it on. But I wasn't really expecting to like it, and it actually had a really great meaning to it, and like epiphany hit me right after the movie. I was like, I need to talk about this on YouTube. It's awesome because it's about the signs that happen in life, you know, just things that happen, and some people might call it destiny, some people might call it fate, or even coincidence. You know, we look back at our life and we think about some of the things that has happened to us, and we think back a little bit before that, and if we made a different choice, something completely different might have happened. You know, like we talked about this before. I've talked about this, like choices, you know, like when you make a choice, something really drastic could happen. You know, there's always a consequence with a choice, and you know, we can't really think about it too much, but you know, things do happen, either for the good or for the bad. You know, maybe if you go right, you could become super rich, or maybe if you go left, you can meet a dragon. You know, there's different things that can happen, I guess, in everyday choice. Well, this guy named Jeff, who lives at home, well, he's not having the most successful life that he would want to have. He's living with his mom in mid-30s or so, and he's kind of, you know, thinking really deep about life and stuff like that. Well, a phone call comes at his house one morning, and it calls for the name Kevin. You know, they ask if the person named Kevin is there, and he says, well, no, there's no Kevin here, you have the wrong number. Well, this name Kevin sticks with him in his head through the rest of the day. You know, he just can't get it out of his head, and he tries to follow Kevin around everywhere. You know, he has to go to the store, so he sees the word Kevin, the name Kevin, he has to follow it, and good things and bad things happen throughout his journey. So this name Kevin is not very important, okay? It's not very significant. It's just kind of a metaphor, because, you know, a lot of life-changing things did happen to Jeff when he was trying to find this Kevin throughout the day. But, you know, Kevin is just a word, right? But every one of us has a Kevin, I feel like. It has a sign that we can go ahead and take. You know, it's like kind of sitting right in front of us. This movie, of course, was really exaggerative, and a lot of things happened that probably wouldn't, but there is times in life that we just have to look for the signs, and we have to do what feels right. You know, we can't just sit back and do nothing. That's always the easiest thing for us to do, and it's always kind of more comfortable for us to not do anything about things. But even though that we see signs are happening, you know, and there are things that are going on that we really should be doing, we're not doing. We're not making that choice, and we're not making the right choice. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is don't be closed-minded about things. You know, have an open heart, have an open mind, and especially when you're given a choice, you know, try to look at both angles of the choice, because you never know what you might be getting yourself into. You never know what the consequences are going to be until after you make that choice. You know, life-changing things happen. But that being said, you know, you can't always just sit there and think about things for too long, and not do anything about it because you feel like that's the best approach, is just sit back and not make a choice. Being active, making choices, that is how we learn, that is how we grow. Like again, guys, this Kevin is just a word, you know. I'm not saying physically go out and find a Kevin. It's just this movie, you know, this guy was finding a Kevin, this was his sign, and he had a lot of destiny or fate things that happened, and it was really crazy. But you know, things do happen sometimes, and it just kind of made me think a little bit, and I hope you guys thought a little bit as well. And I really want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me that you guys are still listening and watching. It's always fun to talk with you guys, and like always, this has been DaBoki. Go find your Kevin out there, and we'll be seeing you guys later. Goodbye.